Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Plant nutrient and nutrient cycle. Plants require nutrients or elements obtained from the soil for good growth and healthy development. These elements or nutrients are classified into two main groups, which are the macronutrients and the micronutrients. Macronutrients are mineral elements required by crops in large quantities. For example, the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, calcium, sulfur, etc. While the micronutrients or trace elements are mineral elements required by crops in small quantities. We have the zinc, the copper, the boron, the molybdenum, the iron, the chlorine, and the manganese as examples. Some factors that influence the availability of nutrients in the soil are the soil pH level, concentration of other nutrients, leaching, crop removal, oxidation and reduction of organic material, burning, soil texture, and erosion. In soil pH level, the degree of acidity or alkalinity of the soil affects the availability of nutrients both in the soil and also to plants. A low pH or high acidity will encourage the disintegration of clay minerals like calcium, aluminium, and iron, which are leached away from the soil. At high pH or high alkalinity, calcium and magnesium ions accumulate in the soil, and this affects the growth of plants. A low pH also reduces the activities of soil living organisms, which aid the decomposition of organic matter. In the concentration of other nutrients, the presence of certain elements in high concentration may prevent the absorption or utilization of other elements, while the concentration of nitrogen and phosphorus in the soil results in the non-availability of potassium. The condition results in retarded growth, low yield, or even death of the plant. Another factor which influences nutrient availability of the soil is leaching. This is the removal of nutrients from the topsoil to the inner part of the soil beyond the reach of the roots of plants. It results in the loss of nutrients such as calcium, magnesium, potassium from the topsoil in solution. It also results in the accumulation of aluminium and hydrogen ions, which become acidic and toxic to plants. Another factor is crop removal. In crop removal, nutrients are removed from the soil by crops for growth, development, and production. When the crops are harvested, the nutrients contained in the plants are never returned to the soil. The rapid removal of nutrients from the soil by continuous cropping completely deprives the soil of such nutrients. Oxidation and reduction of organic materials. Here, some compounds such as ammonium radicals are oxidized to gaseous ammonia. Nitrates are also reduced to molecular nitrogen or oxides of nitrogen by denitrifying bacteria. These products, that is the ammonium radicals and nitrates, which escape into the atmosphere in form of gases, make the soil become poorer in nutrients. Burning, as a factor that influences the availability of nutrients in the soil, exposes the soil to erosion, which can wash away plant nutrients in the soil. It burns the organic matter content of the soil, thereby reducing the amount of nutrients in the soil. It kills or reduces the number of soil organisms, which aid the composition of materials, and consequently, most nutrients may not be available to the soil. Soil texture, which is another factor that influences the availability of nutrients. In soil texture, fine texture such as clay and silt ensures the availability of nutrients in the soil. but coarse texture like sand prevents the availability of nutrients in the soil. Coarse texture encourages the leaching of nutrients from the soil. In erosion, as a factor that influences the availability of nutrients in the soil, heavy rainfall causes the washing or carrying away of topsoil, which is rich in plant nutrients. Topsoil can also be blown away by winds, resulting in nutrient reduction in the soil. On the screen are different elements listed with their functions and their deficiency symptoms. The nitrogen aids plant growth, it increases carbohydrate synthesis, it promotes vegetative growth, excess nitrogen delay maturation and fruiting. Nitrogen also promotes the uptake of potassium and phosphorus and other elements in the soil. The deficiency in nitrogen causes stunted growth, yellowing of leaves or chlorosis. Leaves tend to drop and there is poor formation of fruit and flower. The phosphorus helps to aid enzymes reaction. It is a constituent of cell nucleus and it is essential for cell division. Phosphorus increases crop resistance to diseases and it helps in ripening of fruits. Deficiency in phosphorus causes logging due to poor development of roots. Leaves turn purple or dull grey-green color. There is stunted growth and there is inhibition of flowering, fruit and seed formation. Potassium is an important constituent of plant tissues. It aids in the synthesis of carbohydrates. It helps to activate various plant enzyme reactions. Deficiency in potassium causes weak slender stems, delayed growth, premature loss of leaves, and brown color at margin of leaves. The calcium. Calcium helps to strengthen plant cell wall with calcium pectate. It also helps in the translocation and storage of carbohydrates and proteins into seeds and tubers. It helps to control the toxicity of aluminium and manganese and sodium ions. It is necessary for the normal growth of root tips. Deficiency in calcium causes stunting of the root system. It also causes an appearance of pale yellow color on the leaves and also a weak slender stem. Magnesium is important in the synthesis of carbohydrates as it is a constituent of chlorophyll. It assists in the transportation of phosphates, which is an essential material to developing fruit seeds, and it also enhances plant growth. Deficiency in magnesium causes chlorosis along the leaf veins. It causes stunted growth and premature leaf fall. Sulfur. Sulfur is a constituent of plant protein since it occurs in some amino acids. It is also a constituent of plant hormones and it is essential for chlorophyll formation. Deficiency in sulfur causes yellowing of leaves, stunted growth, and poor rate of photosynthesis. Iron. Iron is necessary for chlorophyll formation. It is necessary for protein synthesis contained in chloroplast. It is important in enzyme synthesis associated with oxidation and reduction reactions. Deficiency in iron causes chlorotic condition of leaves which become pale green. The manganese. Manganese is a constituent enzyme which is responsible for protein synthesis. It is important for certain nitrogen transformation in plants and microorganisms. Young yellow leaves show pale greenish yellow discoloration between veins whenever there is deficiency in manganese. Copper. Copper is a constituent of certain enzymes and it is necessary for photosynthesis. It is also involved in respiration and utilization of iron. Deficiency in copper causes pale green color of leaves. The tips of older leaves dry off and die, and young leaf tips die back. Zinc. Zinc is involved in the action of certain enzymes, and deficiency in zinc causes production of mottled or extremely small leaves. The boron. Boron is an important nutrient in protein synthesis. It facilitates development of roots. It assists in the formation of fruits and seeds. It encourages the division of cells in the growing regions of plants, and it increases yield. Deficiency in boron causes the death of tips of roots and shoots. It causes the failure of flower buds to develop. It causes poor growth of plants, causes breaking or lodging, and decreases the rate of water absorption and translocation of sugars. The molybdenum. The molybdenum aids nitrogen fixation, and it is an essential part of enzymatic system involved in facilitating nitrogen change. Deficiency in molybdenum causes promotion of metabolism of nitrates into amino acids and protein. It causes mottled leaves. It leads to coiling and breakdown of leaf edges, and it causes premature flower drops. Methods of replenishing lost nutrients. There are different methods or ways of replenishing or replacing lost nutrients. They are through crop rotation, organic manuring, bush fallowing, cover cropping, liming, and application of inorganic fertilizers. Crop rotation is defined as the system of farming whereby different crops are grown on the same piece of land year after year in a definite manner so as to maintain fertility of the soil. The cycle is planned in such a way as to restore nutrients removed from the soil. In organic manuring involves the application of organic manure to the soil in order to improve its fertility. Organic manuring as a way of improving soil fertility has the following advantages. 1. It promotes the activities of soil living organisms such as earthworms, termites, and microbes. Organic manure helps to improve the structure of the soil by building the particles of coarse texture soil together. Mineralization of humus adds nutrients to the soil. Organic manure helps to conserve moisture and prevent evaporation from the soil. It reduces rapid soil temperature fluctuation. As a result of its dark color, humus easily absorbs heat during the day and loses it slowly at night. It prevents erosion because it improves the structure of the soil and reduces the speed of the runoff. Bush fallowing. Bush fallowing as a method of replenishing lost nutrients is a practice in which farmlands are left to lie fallow after 1 or 2 years of cultivation. The purpose of this is to allow nutrients to revert to the soil. When a piece of land is placed on continuous cropping year after year, the nutrients are completely used up from the soil without replacement. Cover cropping. Cover cropping is the process of planting certain plants mainly to cover soil surface. By so doing, the nutrients are conserved in the soil. Cover cropping helps to reduce erosive capacity of moving water, therefore checking erosion. It adds organic matter to the soil when dead. It protects the surface of the soil from direct heat of the sun. It reduces leaching of the soil nutrients. It provides a suitable cover for soil organisms. It increases water holding capacity of the soil, or it influences soil water supply. It also improves soil development. Liming as another method of replenishing lost nutrients refers to the process whereby calcium or magnesium containing compounds are added to the soil to reduce soil acidity. Lime in agriculture helps to maintain soil fertility by reducing or neutralizing soil acidity. It helps to increase the activities of soil living organisms. It makes nutrients like calcium and phosphorus more readily available for tissue development. It also increases the availability of phosphate and molybdenum ions. It increases the rate of water percolation in clay soil. It serves as additional sources of calcium for bone development in fish and reduces turbidity in fish ponds through flocculation property. Nutrients can be replenished by the application of inorganic fertilizers because fertilizers are chemical substances generally in the form of powder, granules, pellets or crystals which can be added to the soil to increase its fertility. The use of fertilizer is the surest way of replenishing lost nutrients from the soil and increase the productivity of crops. Fertilizers help to increase the yield of crops. They help to increase the growth of planktons in fish ponds, and they increase the activities of soil organisms. We have two types of fertilizers: the straight or single fertilizers and the complete or mixed or compound fertilizers. The compound fertilizers are fertilizers which contain two or more nutrients, while the straight or single fertilizers are fertilizers that contain only one element. Such elements may be nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. Ways in which nutrients can be lost. Nutrients can be lost through crop removal, erosion, leaching, pH level, excess of other nutrients, and oxidation and reduction of organic materials. In crop removal, nutrients are removed from the soil by crops for growth, development, and production. When the crops are harvested, the nutrients contained in the plants are never returned to the soil. The rapid removal of nutrients from the soil by continuous cropping completely deprives the soil of such nutrients. In erosion, heavy rainfall causes the washing or carrying away of topsoil, which is rich in plant nutrients. Topsoil can also be blown away by winds, resulting in nutrient reduction in the soil. Leaching is the removal of nutrients from the topsoil to the inner part of the soil beyond the reach of the roots of plants. It results in the loss of nutrients such as calcium, magnesium, potassium from the topsoil in solution. It also results in the accumulation of aluminium and hydrogen ions, which become acidic and toxic to plants. In the pH, the degree of acidity or alkalinity of the soil affects the availability of nutrients both in the soil and also to plants. A low pH or high acidity will encourage the disintegration of clay minerals like calcium, aluminium, and iron ions, which are leached away from the soil. At high pH, calcium and magnesium ions accumulate in the soil, which affect the growth of plants. A low pH also reduces the activities of soil-living organisms, which aid the decomposition of organic matter. In the excess of other nutrients, the presence of certain elements in high concentration may prevent the absorption or utilization of other elements. The concentration of nitrogen and phosphorus in the soil results in the non-availability of potassium. This condition results in retarded growth, low yield, or even death of the plant. In oxidation and reduction of organic materials, some compounds such as ammonium radicals are oxidized to gaseous ammonia. Nitrates are also reduced to molecular nitrogen or oxides of nitrogen by denitrifying bacteria. This product, that is the ammonium radicals and nitrates, which escape into the atmosphere in form of gases, make the soil become poorer in nutrients. Nutrient cycles. Nutrient cycles refers to the circulation of certain nutrients like nitrogen, carbon, and water in nature. Nitrogen cycle is a complex process by which nitrogen is naturally added and removed from the soil. Soil can gain nitrogen through symbiotic nitrogen fixation, electrical discharge, non-symbiotic nitrogen fixation, ammonification and nitrification, and also application of organic manure and nitrogen fertilizers. In symbiotic nitrogen fixation, some bacteria which live in the root nodules of leguminous plants can fix atmospheric nitrogen directly into the plant. The plant supplies carbohydrates for use by the bacteria, while the bacteria supplies the plant with combined nitrogen. In electrical discharge, nitrogen can also be fixed into the soil during lightning. Nitrogen in the air combines with oxygen to form nitric oxide, which further undergoes oxidation to form nitrogen dioxide. The nitrogen dioxide will dissolve in rainwater to form nitrous and nitric acid, which later disassociates to form nitrate in the soil. In non-symbiotic nitrogen fixation, some bacteria such as Azotobacter and Clostridium also live freely in the soil and can fix atmospheric nitrogen into the soil either aerobically or anaerobically. In ammonification and nitrification, the process involving the formation of ammonium compounds from dead and decaying plants and animals and their waste products like urine and feces is called ammonification. A further reaction known as nitrification involves the conversion of ammonium compounds first to nitrate by nitrifying bacteria called nitrosomonas. These nitrates are converted by oxidation to nitrates by another bacterium called the Nitrobacter. Plants can only absorb nitrates from the soil. The application of organic manure and nitrogen fertilizers also add or supply nitrogen to the soil. On the screen is a diagram that shows how different elements get to the soil and then into the animal. Carbon cycle. Carbon cycle involves a series of processes which contribute to the circulation of carbon in nature. Here, carbon dioxide is removed from the air mainly by photosynthesis, during which plants use it to manufacture their own food. Carbon is lost in form of carbonates of calcium and magnesium through leaching and drainage. The atmosphere gains carbon dioxide through burning of fuel like coal and wood, the action of volcanoes which release carbon dioxide, the respiration by plants and animals, the death, decay and putrefaction of plants and animals, and also through the diffusion of carbon dioxide from seas and other bodies of water acting as reservoir of carbon dioxide, just as we can see on the screen. Water cycle. Water cycle is defined as a continuous movement of water from the atmosphere to the earth and from the earth to the atmosphere. The atmosphere receives water through evaporation from oceans and lands, transpiration from plants, and through breathing or respiration by plants and animals. The land receives water through rainfall or precipitation, and also through infiltration and percolation. Water provides the medium of absorption of mineral salts. It facilitates the transfer of nutrients to other parts of plants where they are used in various metabolic processes. It has a cooling effect on crops. It helps to sustain life. It helps in seed germination, and water facilitates enzymatic activities occurring in crop plants. On the right side of the screen is the diagram of the water cycle. On the right side of the screen is a diagram of the nitrogen cycle.